Welcome back to the MMA Corner. I am your host, Jody, and today we're going over the results of UFC 263, specifically the three that I predicted, because the first two fights didn't overly interest me. But I am going to talk about them a little bit. First, I'm going to start with Damian Maia versus Bilal Muhammad. I think that should be it for Damian Maia. He just went after a single leg over and over again and didn't really do anything else. And I think that goes to show how boring Bahal Muhammad is. He didn't do anything either, and he had a billion opportunities to. So that's my thought on that fight. And then Paul Craig, I believe his name is, with Jamal Hill. That was nasty. Dislocated his elbow because apparently it wasn't broken, which is insane. So, yeah, that ref was horrendous. You see that arm flopping, you call that bitch. That fight's over. But he didn't. He did not. And then, yeah, that was just awful. That was poorly done. Poorly done by the referee. Might as well have been Mario Yamazaki or Steve Mazzagatti. Let it go for way too long. And then to get into the main fights on the card, the 5 rounders, uh, Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards went the way I predicted. Well, not true. I predicted Nate going down in the first two, and they went all 5. And in fact, Nate almost came back, and that would have been exciting if Nate had knocked him out in the 5th, because that would have been crazy. But he didn't. They went all 5, and it was pretty one-sided until that last round, until the last 2 minutes of that last round, anyway. So I thought this should be time for Nate to hang it up, but no. Like, he proved me wrong. He's 36. He's not young, but he's not Woodley. He's not 38, and he's going on a horrendous losing streak. He's only lost the last 2, I believe. And he's honestly, like, with that fight, I feel like if they had given him his last 2 rounds against Masvidal, this whole Masvidal thing wouldn't have really kicked off, because I feel like he would have come back and done the same sort of shit there too. So Nate's still around, and honestly, I think that made Leon look pretty bad. He had dominated 4 of the 5 rounds, and then the last round nearly got knocked out. That should give anybody in the top 5 like something to look forward to when fighting Leon, especially like somebody like Colby or Kamaru. Like, Leon saying he deserves a title shot, I don't agree. I think it's 100% Colby. It is Colby versus Kamaru. That has to be the title fight. I was thinking you put Leon against Wonder Boy, and then we go from there. Winner of that fight takes on winner of Colby Kamaru. But somebody brought up Masvidal versus Leon, and as much as I do want to see that fight because of everything built around it, I feel like it's going to be a lot of talk before the fight, and then the fight's going to be basically what we got this weekend, where one person dominates the whole time, because I don't think Masvidal is as good as people think he is. I think he's not a one-trick pony, but he only has a handful of tricks, and he runs out of them very quick in a fight. My opinion. Anyway. So that prediction for me was correct, with Leon winning. And then Brandon Moreno won the flyweight title. Also, I predicted that one. And I think I said it was going to go down in the 3rd. I don't know how. I don't remember if I said 3rd or 4th, but I thought he would finish him. And he did. He finished him by, I don't remember if it was a rear naked choke or a triangle. It might have been rear naked. I don't know. He choked him out, I believe, or at least Figueroa tapped. And Figueroa looked like dog shit. He looked awful in this fight. And if he's gonna make excuses this time, it should be this. It should be this time he makes excuses, not the first time, because he survived longer in the first one. And yeah, no, I said that Brendan Moreno only had 3 weeks. the first time, but they both did technically. So that's a bit of a fumble on my end. But I still hold up the fact that they've had 6 months, and Moreno has clearly come a lot further in 6 months than Figueroa did. So the God of War is no longer the champ. It is now I believe it was the Assassin Baby is his nickname, which is terrible, but you know. And then the main event of Israel Adesanya versus Marvin Vettori. 5 rounds of Marvin Vettori attempting to get a takedown. The first round was his. Honestly, I don't know how it was a unanimous 50 to 45 the whole way through. I believe is what the cards were. That's ridiculous. He at least won one of those rounds, in my opinion. He won the first round. After that, all of his takedowns led to either 2 seconds on the ground or Izzy ended up on top and getting out. And then while they were in the stand up, Izzy was dodging virtually everything he got thrown at him and then landing basically everything he threw. So, I mean, people talk about boring jiu-jitsu. In my opinion, it wasn't boring, but it was so incredibly one-sided it was unfair. And the fact that Marvin Vittori still thought at the end that he won, even though all he did was lean up against him on the cage after the second round. That's all he did. He just laid up against him on the cage, and Izzy would roll off and then land strikes. He landed that leg kick all day. Props to Vittori for not fucking falling over with those leg kicks, but he just kept eating them and eating them and eating them. So now it has to be Whitaker versus Izzy because Izzy's beaten everybody else with the exception of I can't even think because Vittori's third. I believe Costa was second. Darren Till just lost his last one, I think. Yeah, his last one was Whitaker, right? He just lost that one. And then Gastelum's, I think, did Gastelum go on a losing streak? So he's not really in the picture either. The only one left is Bobby Knuckles. Because Marvin Vettori is never going to get a chance at Izzy as title as the champion again. Because he's lost 2 to him now. So he's got to wait for somebody else to get the title to even try again, in my opinion. And then, yeah, no, I predicted Izzy winning that as well. I think I predicted Izzy finishing him in the second, but that wasn't going to happen. At the time I didn't realize that Marvin Vettori had never been finished or knocked out, so I was not necessarily fully informed as I would have liked to have been. I learned that the night of. I was like, shit, I predicted that, but yeah, that is UFC 263, and it's got to be after. Who's gonna fight Brandon Moreno now? Like, I would like Henry Cejudo to come back, but I don't think he'll come back at 125. He'll probably come back at 135 for TJ or something. But shit, I think that was like maybe they should have went for another draw, so that there would be another fight for this. But yeah, leave in the comments who you think should fight. Who Leon should fight next, Masvidal or Wonder Boy. Who Nate should fight next. Who Brandon Moreno should fight next, and who Izzy should fight next. And yeah, with that, this has been the MMA Corner, the results of UFC 263, and I will catch you next time.